he did take a knee at a time where taking a knee could cost you his career, and it did. There was nothing racist about the NFL not wanting to be around in the cap business. Nothing at all. It was simply he wasn't good enough, like Tim Tebow, to overcome the craziness around him. Kaepernick in his life has been a complete fraud. What he really is, and I will always give him credit for this, is a man that stood up and lost.
Again? We are talking about Captain Doofus again? He is pleading for our attention. Again? I thought we were done with Colin Kaepernick. Hey, it's me, Colleen! Unlike Dan Duckich at Outkick, I refuse to give Colin Kaepernick credit for taking a stand. For starters, it's hard to take a stand while you're on your knees. I don't know about you guys, but I stand on my feet. I have never gotten out of my recliner and stood on my damn knees. Colin Kaepernick kneeling for the national anthem and disrespecting the brave men, the brave women in our military. This was never about taking a stand. It was never about bringing awareness to police brutality. It was never about representing Black Lives Matter. The truth is, Colin Kaepernick trading in his helmet for a set of knee pads, this was a selfish decision. It was a decision that was made out of self-preservation. 10 years ago, when he was 29 years old, Colin Kaepernick was smart enough to realize that his NFL career was rapidly ending. Well, Uncle Casey, that's not true. NFL quarterbacks are playing into their mid-30s. Some quarterbacks are playing into their 40s. Yeah, we call those franchise quarterbacks. Colin Kaepernick was never a franchise quarterback. Outside of one good season, the NFL career of Colin Kaepernick was the drizzling shits. His final 2 years in the NFL, Colin Kaepernick had a combined record of 3-16. Going into the 2016 season, and I will give Colin Kaepernick credit for this, I will give him credit for having the self-awareness to realize that he was no longer good enough to win consistently at this level. Going into the 2016 season, Colin Kaepernick knew that his NFL career was on life support. His career earnings in the NFL was around $40, maybe $50 million. Now, while that sounds like generational wealth, once you subtract agent fees, the exorbitant taxes that he was paying living in the People's Republic of California, along with the high cost of living, once you subtract all those expenses, Colin Kaepernick was probably left with 10, maybe $15 million. Now, was that plenty of money? Obviously. But when you're used to making millions of dollars a year, and you're looking at the possibility of making nothing, or at minimum, making significantly less money, you go into survival mode. You start thinking about life after football and how you can make a living. Again, to his credit, Colin Kaepernick created an illusion in the market, and he filled that illusion. He was one of the founders of the business of mythical racism. He starts kneeling for the national anthem once he was kicked out of the NFL, not only because he was no longer good enough to be a starting quarterback. I think the main reason Colin Kaepernick was kicked out of the NFL is because he was bad for business. NFL ratings declined 8 to 12% when Captain Doofus was kneeling for the national anthem. Once he was kicked out of the league, Colin Kaepernick portrayed himself as the ultimate victim. This league is racist. The NFL is afraid to see the black man succeed. During the summer of woke love in 2020, Colin Kaepernick became the face of diversity. He was being paid by Nike. He was producing documentaries for Netflix that no one was watching. He was claiming that the NFL was the equivalent to modern day slavery. And anytime he fell out of the mainstream conversation, Colin Kaepernick would fake a comeback to the NFL. And when he was rejected, he would pretend to be the ultimate victim again. For the better part of 8 years, Colin Kaepernick had the perfect retirement plan. He was paid millions of dollars to essentially do nothing. But like I tell you guys all the time, there always comes a point when the sympathy money runs out. There always comes a point when you either step up or you step aside. Earlier this week, Colin Kaepernick announced that he was once again trying to step up. Unfortunately, he is coming to the harsh realization that no one cares. Make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at Casey_BTL84. Just a quick reminder, after the videos tomorrow, I will be leaving for vacation. It's tough because the channels have really been building up momentum in the last few weeks. 2025 was a very tough year for a lot of us here on YouTube. I was very fortunate. You guys are incredibly supportive. I have a good foundational audience that watches damn near every video, but throughout 2025, it was really hard for a lot of us to grow. YouTube was being overrun by AI garbage. They started cracking down last summer, and it took the rest of the year for things to stabilize a bit. But going into this year, and especially in the last 3, 4, 5 weeks, I'm seeing positive trends. Things are finally starting to return to normal, which makes this the absolute worst time for me to be taking a vacation, especially since I just received a massive tax bill from the IRS. The vacation, all of our families going. The vacation was organized by my mom and my wife. You need to take a break. You need to be off work. Although they're probably right, I don't ever feel like I work. I love what I do, and being away, it makes me feel like I'm missing out. Costs me a lot of money not to be here. There's no such thing as pay time off when you work on YouTube. But I'm going to unplug from the news. I'm going to put a smile on my face, and I'm going to enjoy the vacation, enjoy the time off. After tomorrow, I won't see you guys until the 18th or maybe even the 19th. September 15th, which just so happens to be 24 hours after the NFL concludes week 1 of their regular season. I'm sure that's just a coincidence. September 15th, Colin Kaepernick will release his latest autobiography that was probably written by someone else. The ghost-written autobiography is titled The Perilous Fight, the courageous journey of a manufactured victim who made millions of dollars by exploiting his own community. According to the press release, the book will detail the journey of Colin Kaepernick as he made the decision to kneel for the national anthem. He will provide details to the supposed injustices that he dealt with. He will talk about the voices that came before him that he carried into the stadium on that day. Colin Kaepernick will explain how the NFL is bigger than football. Whatever the hell that means. If this storyline, though, sounds familiar, there's a good reason for that. This is the same storyline that Colin Kaepernick used when he released his first autobiography 3 years ago. Back then, the book was titled Change the Game, the traumatic story of how Colin Kaepernick changed the NFL by being kicked out of the league. Although I'm sure there will be some new details in this latest turd that will drop in September, it sounds to me like Colin Kaepernick is recycling old material. This seems to be an act of desperation. This is one final plea for mainstream attention. Last season was the first time in almost 10 years that Colin Kaepernick was not mentioned during NFL season. Before last season, anytime a starting quarterback was injured and they were out for the year, someone in the media would beg NFL teams to give Colin a chance. He's been working out. His arm strength is amazing. He hasn't lost his speed either. He recently beat a tortoise in the 40-yard dash. Remember a couple of years ago when Aaron Rodgers tore his Achilles on Monday Night Football? I believe it was week 1 of the season. Before he was even carted off the field, Jamel Hill was demanding that the Jets sign Colin Kaepernick. Hell, his ghostwriter sent a letter to the Jets begging them to put Colin Kaepernick on the practice squad. Please, please give me a chance. I'll be the tackling dummy. I'll be the caboose masseuse. I just want to be part of the team and back in the mainstream. The truth is, the NFL has given Colin Kaepernick multiple opportunities to get back into the league. Every time he was given a chance, Colin Kaepernick turned it into a disaster. For Colin Kaepernick, it was never about getting back into the NFL. It was always about generating mainstream attention for whatever doofus project that he was promoting. I guarantee you, once training camp starts this summer, Colin Kaepernick will suddenly start talking about returning to the NFL. He'll start posting workout videos on social media. He'll start pleading his case on Twitter. Throughout the preseason, his pretend friends in the mainstream media, they will talk about the incredible physical shape that Colin Kaepernick's currently in. By the time we get to September, he'll book softball interviews with pretend friends to promote his book. During the interviews, he will talk about his never-ending desire to return to football. 3 or 4 weeks later, when the book promotion is over, when the book is inevitably nominated for the 4th annual Huge Embarrassing Failure Awards, all of a sudden, the conversation about Colin Kaepernick returning to the NFL will disappear, and Colin Kaepernick will disappear. We won't hear from him again until he needs more money. It seems like once the bank account starts getting low, Colin Kaepernick repeats the same process. But here's the problem. He has repeated this process so many times, no one cares. When he made his exciting announcement earlier this week, it barely made headlines in the mainstream media. Sound off in the comments below. I'll see you guys tomorrow.